Hi everyone. Christoph asked if I'd give you a quick run through my AL test runner extension for VS Code. Thank you for the invitation. Sorry I can't be with you in person today. Friday's my day off and I look after my boys on a Friday. But I thought I'd record a video for you instead and just give you a few minutes on what's possible in the extension. So here I've got a very simple AL project. All it does is create an order origin table, code and description, and then you can assign an order origin to a customer. And the intention is when that customer is used as the sell to customer on a sales order, the order origin is copied from the customer to the sales header record. Nice and simple. I am running against a local Docker container demo. So Docker desktop is installed on my laptop. I've got a demo container which is a BC16 sandbox image, and that's what we're going to be publishing into and running the tests against. Obviously there are other development scenarios, and there's more information on my blog about how you can use PS remoting for a remote Docker host, or use remote development actually in VS Code with VS Code Server and other stuff like that. Just to keep it simple, developing against a local Docker host. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is create a test code unit. Let's call it order origin tests .codeunit.il. Order origin tests, and get rid of all that and just say it's of subtype test. AL test runner adds a new snippet test procedure, so start typing t test and you get the test attribute and placeholders for given when then. So let's call this order origin is inherited from customer to sales order, something like that. Given a customer which has an order origin code, when a sales order is created, then the order origin is copied from the customer to the sales header. I'm not going to make you sit through watching me type all that out, so I've got some code I'm going to copy and paste in here. I've also got a library code unit which does a couple of things. It has a method for creating a new order origin record, which is used there, and it does some initialization as well, make sure the sales setup record is inserted, and there are some order numbers to use, make sure there's a unit of measure code to use. There's a few little gotchas when you're using a sandbox image. Stuff isn't set up that needs to be set up for tests to run. So there's my my given when then. Incidentally, I don't have the code that will actually copy the order origin from the customer to the sales header yet. I'm writing the test first. I wouldn't be militant about doing that. We don't always write the tests first, but I'm going to in this case. So publish that into the container. Just while that's doing, you'll notice the test method now has a background of this, what do you call that, camel? Beige? I don't know, some sort of colour, to indicate there are no results for this test. And that background colour will change according to the latest test result. We also get this code lens action above each of the test methods. So I can click on that, and there's a run tests to run all the tests in a single code unit at the top as well. So now a few things are going to start happening. So first of all, it's prompting me for the credentials nav user password credentials that I'm using in this container to authenticate with. It's opened a new terminal down here, and you can see it's imported a PowerShell module, and it's going to run that test function in that test code unit in that company, and the test is going to fail, which is good, because that's what we wanted. It's going to copy the XML result file back from the container. You'll notice the method name has now changed to have a red background, and when you mouse over the name you get the error message. We expected this code, actually we got blank, and the call stack that's associated with that error. You also get the particular line that encountered the error is underlined with this red wavy line. You can change the colours if you don't like them, if they're hard to read with your colour theme or something. You also get an output. For some reason, which I haven't worked out, the output is sometimes not visible, or it flashes up for a split second and then disappears. So I just switched to terminal and then back to output again. This is what you're supposed to see. The order origin tests code unit failed because at least one of its tests failed. This test failed, and this is a link to the particular line. So line number 6 in that file is the definition of that method. So if your editor is in another file, you can alt-click and jump back to the failing test. That's useful if you've got a whole test suite that you're running and a few of them have failed and you want to jump to the failing tests. And one test ran 1.24 seconds and one of them failed. Cool, so now we can go and add the code to actually make it work. Sales header subscriptions, another code unit in here. Again, for the sake of time, I'm just going to copy and paste some code in here. And that's just an on-after validation of the sell to customer number. Copy the order origin code. Validate that on the sales header. Now, I'm not going to publish this because I just want to show one of the settings that hopefully you'll find useful. In ALTest Runner, there is a setting, publish before test. Defaults to none, but you can choose either publish or rapid application publish. I'm using publish at the moment only because I've had some trouble with rapid application publishing lately. It's not always been picking up the tests after a rapid application publish. So I'll leave that as publish for now. And this time you notice if I run test, first of all, it's going to build and publish the app into the container, and then it's going to run the test. So in that way, you're just making sure you're always actually testing the latest version of the code and checking that it builds as well, I guess. And this time, you get a green light. Copy the results back. The test method background changes from red to green. You get a thumbs up, say the test is passing. And yeah, you just get that summary in the output. And that's basically it. That is the flow of writing the test, running the test, writing the code, running the test. Control-Alt-T is the shortcut to run the current test that the cursor is in. As I say, you can run all the tests in the current code unit, either from the command palette and open ALTest Runner run test in current code unit, or the run tests code lens action, and Control-Alt-Shift and T will run all the tests in the current project. I'm writing the tests in the same project as the code itself, but there is support for workspaces. If you like to have two separate multi-root workspace, one with the tests, one with the code, as long as you've got an editor open in the test project, then the extension can figure out this is the app that you're intending to publish and run the tests from. Frankly, life is too short for me to worry about multi-root workspaces, but if you like to work like that, then you can do. There's a few other settings. So I said you can change the decoration on the test methods, change the background color. You can decide if you want the line that encountered an error to be underlined, and if you do, how you want that to look. You can change the CSS if you like, whether the code lens actions are enabled or not. One last thing it might be interesting just to show you is these two settings, post-test command and pre-test command. If I do a quick get command for the AL test runner module down here, you'll see there are functions for things that might be useful, like getting the PowerShell session that is running against a remote Docker host, get the name of the container that is running. You get certain values from app.json or launch.json, and there might be some scenario where you want to execute your own PowerShell commands before or after the tests are run. If you want to set up the environment or take the app and back out of the container again, or copy the results somewhere else, I don't know. You can enter arbitrary PowerShell commands into here, and they will be executed before or after. So one last demo. Let's go for invoke command on Docker host. Obviously, Docker host is just the local machine in my case, but you can use that command with PS remoting to invoke a command on a remote machine. And let's just write host hello Beerinar and foreground color cyan, why not? Come back to here, let's do Control-Alt-Shift and T to run all the tests. So again, that's going to build, publish the app into the container. Now it's running all the tests. I've only got one test in the whole project anyway, but if there were other test code units and methods, it would run those now. And that has succeeded. Copy the results back and switch back to terminal, and you'll see invoking script. Here is the command that I wrote into the post-test command setting, and there's the output from the command, and that's what cyan looks like apparently. So hopefully that's a useful little rundown. So install it from the marketplace, give it a go. The code is on GitHub if you'd like to contribute, or if there's any issues, that's the place to log them. Try it out in different scenarios, and I hope that you find it useful. Thanks very much.